Hi, we're here with Sharon, a senior user researcher in Google Search. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, what is user research?
User research is a discipline that is providing insights, keyword insights, into product users, their perspectives and abilities to the right people at the right time. So that's the official definition. To make it more understandable, user research is there to help answer three big questions. The first one is, what do people need? The second is, what do people want, which is different than what they need? And the third one is, can they use the thing that we're working on, whatever the thing is?
Is user research only for new ideas?
No, otherwise I wouldn't have a job. You have a new idea, you validate or invalidate it. There are tons of decisions an entrepreneur is making about their product every day. I'm not saying all of them should be covered by user research, but it's not just for new ideas. If you want to develop, we all do, we have new ideas for new features and how to improve the product. Some of them may involve, again, a lot of work. So for those things that may involve a lot of work, I would try and find out if they're worth it. Is it a problem worth solving?
Or a feature?
Or a feature, yes, definitely.
So how do I move from user research to decisions?
So in order for you to make decisions, you first need to know what about. And that leads me to how do we start the process of user research? The first thing you need to do is make it very clear for yourself and for your team what is the question that we're trying to answer. So if you want to move, after you did your research, if we want to move to making decisions, you first need answers to those questions that you started with. What happens in many cases is that you have answers to questions that you didn't ask. You didn't know how to ask, or you weren't even aware that there are questions. That's fine. But if you want to start with research, the first thing you need to do is make a list of the questions you're trying to answer. What are the questions that we will have answers to by the end of this research? This research effort will fail if we don't have answers to these questions.
So I write a list of all the assumptions.
Yes. Assumptions is a perfect way to describe it. An assumption can easily be translated into a question, and it doesn't have to be long. Sometimes 1, 2, 3 questions, it's perfectly fine. Okay, so as soon as you're done with research, you should have answers. Those answers can help you make decisions. I always start when my team and I are trying to start a research effort. I always try to identify, where is this coming from? Why are we talking now? So, and I'm doing that because I'm trying to understand what is the question that we're trying to answer. So I'm looking for dilemmas that people or teams have, arguments that they have. I attend a lot of meetings and I just watch. Sometimes we have data that we can't explain. Why is this happening? And things like that. So this can be translated into questions, and then answers. And these answers would lead us to making decisions.
So how do we analyze the data? Because sometimes you can get, for example, contradicting results.
Yes. So it highly, UX people, what they love to answer. You know that by now? It depends.
Right.
So it highly depends on the question that you're trying to answer. So if you're trying to answer a question such as, which design is better, design A or design B? There's not a lot of fancy analysis that goes into that. You have numbers that can either show you that it's either A, B, or a tie.
So the majority of people decide.
If it's such a question that A or B, but a more complicated question would be, do I have a good idea or not, or what do people need? That's hard. That's not the majority. Sometimes I call these headbangers. When you see only one person that does something or behaves in a certain way, you only need one person to understand, okay, this is important. I don't care that the 9 others didn't demonstrate this behavior. I know that this is important. So it's not easy. It's a team effort. It's a team sport. Research is never the researchers. If your startup is fancy enough to have a researcher, it's not their responsibility. It's a team sport. So the data is not going to be always very helpful. So what I like to do is have people in the team be involved in that. If you have an engineer, if you have a product manager, the entrepreneur himself or herself, a designer, a marketing person, whoever you have all of these people coming from all of these angles, observe the same behavior and decide what's important here together. That's going to be the way to analyze and synthesize the data to decide together. It's not always clear. It's not always easy. I would say this is the hardest part of research, is understanding, okay, what is the result here? What did we find out? Sometimes I use a tool that I created. I call it the rainbow spreadsheet. So the rainbow spreadsheet is a spreadsheet that allows you to list all the observations, everything that you see, all the behaviors that you see. And let's say you observe, I don't know, maybe 5 people, 6 people, and then you just highlight or color different cells to see which participants, we call them, people we invite to participate in research, demonstrated that behavior. And then you get some kind of a histogram of what happened most. And that's helpful in coming to conclusions into what happened here and what does it mean.
So what is your advice to us as entrepreneurs?
I would say one thing. Don't just agree with me. Actually do something about it.
Great advice. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.